Hello and welcome to a brand new season of Iracing.com V8 Supercar official online series racing, presented by Bigpond Sport, Extreme Sim Gear and Direct Clutch Services. It's the season opener, season 4, 2012 at Road America. Joining me in the box, this time we've got no Jay Kennedy. He's decided to take a little bit of hiatus, a little bit of a well-deserved break. And joining me in the box is Corey Slade. Corey, nice to have you, mate.
Yeah, cheers, mate. It's good to see you playing host. I think, with Jay's absence, I think you were the right person to to do that one.
Oh, if you think about that intro, mate, I don't know if I am the right guy for the job, but we'll get our head round it. We'll get used to it, no doubt.
Yeah, it's gonna be just a little bit different for the first couple of races. Not having Jay in the box. I mean, we missed him once or twice, but not weekly. So it's no, it should be good. I know he's out there watching, so it's gonna be good to have him back in a couple of weeks after he's had that little bit of a break.
It's a lot quieter in the box, isn't it, mate? And no, Daniel Bryant too. He's decided to have a little bit of a rest as well.
Yeah, although I don't think it'd be too quiet with me and you. I mean, those two are always going on about how much we talk. So.
Well, we're not far away from the opening round, Season 4, 2012. A big series of racing last season where we saw Madison Down go on to take the championship. And we've got the drivers grid lined up for this race. 21 cars taking part. Your pole sitter at this stage, well, for this race is Madison Down. Fastest over Justin Ruggier in second, Richard Hampstead third, Scott Mclaughlin in fourth, Renz Brookman in fifth place. Sixth place, Josh Muggleton. Seventh is John Emerson. Eighth, Curtis Chipaway. Ninth, Far Richies. And in 10th place, Sean Kelly. Here over the page, we've got 11th position, Troy Cox. 12th, Samuel Collins. Cal Watmore in 13th place. Richie Stanaway in 14th. Mitch Aberrell in 15th. Dylan Carroll in 16th position. 17th, we see Simon Black. In 18th, it's Carl May. In 19th, Scott Fontaine. 20th, it's Benjamin Rothberg. And in 21st, the last place on the grid, Muddy Atkins. So what are we in for, Corey? 18 laps, friend, here. It's a bit of a fuel-saving mode, I think, for this one.
Yeah, as we said in qualifying, it's the drivers have been saying it is a fuel-saving race, and they figured out a way compared to last season to do this without a pit stop. And I'm actually, like I said, just at the end of qualifying, I'm looking forward to seeing how this draft's going to work out, because if it's every car, like some people have been saying in the iRacing forums, that could be how these guys are actually going to get away without having to do a pit stop, because apparently the cars are sucking up behind each other a lot faster and a lot more than they used to. So if these guys are gaining extra kilometres and extra metres without using that fuel, it's definitely going to be an advantage, I think, to be running a bit further back in the pack for the early laps.
Yeah, and if anyone does it briefly for qualifying, I mean, you mentioned that I think these guys have found almost a second from last season since we last raced here. So that's obviously got a lot to do with fuel burn. But yeah, it can be a big benefit if you tuck in for a bit of that draft. You can really save some fuel around here. And we spoke about in qualifying, it's such a costly exercise to come through pit lane because you give up so much track time.
Yeah, I'm not sure the exact time around this pit lane, but it's a bloody long one. I mean, this front straight's it's pretty long, and the pit lane takes up, I reckon, about half of it. So, it's at some other tracks I think it might play in your hand to do a pit stop, but around here it's definitely going to cost you in the long run, even if you do wear out your tyres.
It's a mixed field, mate. Who would you put your money on if you're a betting man?
For this race?
Yep.
Oh, Madison Down's got a 2/10 margin in qualifying, so it's hard to go past him.
Well, that's end of warm-up. We're just about ready for the cars to grid up. 18 laps, like we said, around Road America. These guys have got their work cut out for them. And fingers crossed we can get through the first couple of turns and it's not too chaotic. I know it can be a little bit tight and twisty for the first couple of turns. So fingers crossed everyone makes it through nice and safe.
It's actually quite a tight grid around Road America as well. So I've seen a couple of cars fire into the fence on the start line trying to make up positions. Waiting now for everyone to load up. No Mitchell McLeod tonight, actually. I think he's in Queensland on a holiday, so thankfully he's got the 4 drop weeks.
Yeah, it's real beneficial, isn't it, when you obviously commitments get in the way, and it's handy to have those drop weeks.
Alright, looks like we've got everyone on the grid.
Green, green, green.
The lights go green. We're underway for season 4.
Oh, we got a car
opening.
stalled on the grid. Sorry, Sam, we got a car stopped on the grid. It was one of the, there's actually a big accident there at the back. There was one of the TTL cars that went absolutely nowhere.
Wow,
Oh,
big
there's
dramas.
still crashing. Troy Cox also got off down to turn 1. He's just hit his teammate. Cal Watmore and Troy Cox off. And looks like Sean Kelly as well.
Unbelievable. So many cars off. These guys, it's like the first day back at school and teammates taking care of each other. We've got replays going at the moment trying to catch up with all the drama that's happened. What an exciting first couple of turns.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think it all started from one of the TTL cars, went absolutely nowhere off the grid. And like I said, it's so tight, and that were just cars firing into the fence everywhere.
It's shades of the Gold Coast. I mean, we had all sorts of dramas at the start for the Gold Coast with the V8 Supercar series. It's shades of that. But up front, we got Madison Down leading over Scott Mclaughlin, who's had a good jump. He started from 4th and he's in P2.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic start. Him and Ruggy's fallen back in the pack a little bit there.
Yeah, he finds himself in 4th place, so he's got swamped a little bit there. Muggo in 5th, who's made up 1 spot from the start. So
just looking through now, it looks like John Emerson was the one that went nowhere off the start line, and starting out at P7. Yeah, that's going to be a little bit tight with more than half the field trying to get around him.
It's heartbreaking, isn't it? You know, you've got a brand new season. Everyone's sort of got a clean sheet of paper, and to unfortunately get caught up in that sort of mess for the first race. I mean, didn't even get to turn 1 and we had dramas off the start line, so a bit of bad luck. But it's a long season, and like we just spoke about at the start, the guys have got drop rounds that they can take advantage of too. So it's not all lost for the season.
Another thing we need to consider this season as well, the championship points have been changed now. So you don't just get 2 races. I think you get 4 or 5. I know Emerson's one of the guys that does do the Sunday races, but throughout the whole season, if these guys do miss a Monday, but they can do a Sunday, that's going to be, or maybe they want to do both, Sunday and Monday to get the extra points. It could shake things up quite a bit when we get to the end of the season.
So 1 lap down, great little battle back here. Muggo and Chipaway fighting it out. They're battling it out for 6th and 5th place. So far so good, nice little run there. Curtis Chipaway's been, really quick over the last season. I mean, you just see him just slowly, forever creeping up the field. Really good driver to have, and he's of course one of our international drivers that's coming under the Western Canada division. So, always he makes a big dive up the inside there of Muggo.
Job done.
Oh, side by side, nice bit of work, gets the job done.
Now the inside up here for the next one as well, so Muggo's going to be high, but it looks like Curtis just backs out of it and gives him a bit of space.
Yeah, it's probably not a bad idea actually. Smart move, just backing out a little bit, and don't want to do anything silly. Nice little battle. Oh, looks like up front. I was just having a quick look. Looks like Madison Down, and Scott Mclaughlin had a big run on him. So Madison got all sorts of pressure. Mclaughlin tried to make a dive up the inside, but didn't quite pull it off. Couldn't pull it up in time.
It was just looking a bit further up, and I thought one of the leaders had actually gone off, but the ball managed to get through it.
Just talking about that Muggo battle, they've got themselves they've fallen back a little bit. Of course, when the guys start dicing with each other, they do tend to lose a bit of time from the leaders, and they've got a train of 4 cars here up the front with Madison Down, Scott Mclaughlin, Richard Hampstead and Justin Ruggier, but just that little gap slowly starting to open back to Muggo, so hopefully that doesn't creep out too much more for Muggo.
Yeah, I've been watching the cars up ahead, and I'm pretty convinced that this new draft has affected all the cars. I've been watching Ruggier close in on Richard there, so I think Muggo might be a little bit too far back though to get any of that draft. We'll keep an eye on it. But I'm very interested to see if like I said, this is for all cars or just the certain ones people have been talking about.
Now, the one thing was we see Richard Hampstead on screen. He's obviously got a bit of a distraction. As we look back at Curtis Chipaway, but Richard Hampstead's got a bit of a distraction because Scott Mclaughlin in front of him is actually just blinking a little bit on screen. That can be quite a bit of a distraction, can't it?
Oh, there is nothing worse that I personally think than someone that's sitting, in front or behind you, blinking, and I'm just looking if Justin can get around Richard here, surely Scotty would just let him go on through because like everything seems to have normalised with McLaughlin's internet.
So a hectic start to the opening round of the season. Dramas off the start, and we saw all sorts of carnage, but it looks like it's just sort of started to sort itself out. Madison Down leads over Scott Mclaughlin, Richard Hampstead in third, Justin Ruggier in fourth. Josh Muggleton has got a nice little battle on his hands with Curtis Chipperway, pretty keen to get past to take that fifth place off him.
Looking further back in the pack, there's a lot of cars with bent rear wings and bent panels everywhere, but they have continued to go. The only person that is out of the race after the first lap appears to be John Emerson and Dylan Carroll, sorry.
You've also got Mitch Rubrell in the lane and Scott Fontaine just trying to make the most of the dramas. They'll fix whatever damage they've got, and fingers crossed they get back out there. So Troy Cox trying his best to, looks like a broken Watts link or something there. He's absolutely crabbing down the straights there. Bit of bad luck. Obviously got caught up in those dramas. He had to actually contact with his teammate, which is a bit of bad luck.
Yeah, he went firing down at turn one, almost backwards into Cal, and Cal almost got past. I thought for a second it might have been Muggo, which would have been catastrophic. But it's a real shame when you're firing through the grass, and if you're gonna hit anyone, for it to be your teammates, I can't think of anything worse really.
It's got Richard Hampstead on screen. He's just keeping that eye on Mclaughlin. These guys are just probably just taking their time. We were talking about how these guys have to save fuel. 18 laps around here. You also don't want to be too aggressive on your tyres around here because, as we said in qualifying, such a long lap around here where these guys are sort of lapping in the 210, 211, 212 range.
Having a quick look further up ahead, Madison Down appears to be blinking. Well, for me anyway. I'm not sure if that's gone through for you as well, Sam Man. But he had a big problem at Brands Hatch that I think we thought cost him the championship, but hopefully it managed to stay steady. He's got a nice little gap at the moment though, so.
A nice little pack battle back here with Chipperway. Renz Brookman, who's pretty keen to get past Chipperway. Looking a bit pacey there, old Renz, in the Extreme Sim Gear Falcon.
Yeah, I got to say, I really do like this guy in that car personally, but it's a real shame. I mean, it's as much as I've been up in the commentary box when we said we found out we were signing Renz for this season. I was excited and I thought I'd be back out there racing pretty soon, but it looks like I might be up here possibly all season with you again, Sam Man. So I do enjoy it though.
I was going to say, I wouldn't wish that on anyone, mate.
Yeah, it's been over 2 months since I've done a race, so it's getting a little bit painful, but these Monday night broadcasts, they keep me going.
Just having a look back out the front, Madison Down, Scott Mclaughlin, looks like they might be just starting to gap a little bit on Hampstead, although it is early days. Madison Down, 2:11.4 last time round. Let's see what he punches across the line this time. 2:12.1, Scotty 2:11.8, so Scotty a little bit faster that time round. But like we said, these guys will be watching that fuel number, and they really need to concentrate on that to go the distance because you give up so much with pit lane.
Yeah, one interesting thing for Mclaughlin and Madison is earlier on in the race when they're having that blinking issue, there's a couple of people that seem to think, and I'm not 100% sure, but people seem to think that if you're having internet issues or lag, that it can actually affect the grip of the car. So if Madison was having that could explain why he's although it's only a couple tenths, but could explain why McLaughlin's just caught up to the back of him a little bit.
Well, one thing I'm actually a little bit surprised, I know it's early days, but Justin Ruggier had just fallen back a little bit. He obviously had a great qualifying session, was P2, didn't quite get the greatest of starts and finds himself in fourth, but if he's not careful, he may just lose touch a little bit where Hampstead may be just starting to pull away, and I think behind him he's got Muggleton. If you check back a little bit further, Renz Renz Brookman and Curtis Chipaway having a nice little battle for 6th and 7th place.
Yeah, these two are fighting for top international honours here, I think. So they'll be going at it, and you know, it's still a good position to be 6th and 7th to be outright. So Margot's pulled away a little bit from this battle now. So Renz might be trying to get past Curtis and catch back up, because you don't really want to you know, have to use too much extra fuel trying to catch back up to the driver ahead. He does pull a bit of a gap.
Just checking out this margin back up front. Scotty looks like he's got a bit of pace on board. Looks starting to slowly just pull in Madison down. Last time round it was just on half a second between these guys, but looks like Scotty's just forever closing that gap up. He had a real dive there a few laps ago that we spoke about, and just ran a little bit deep under brakes, but I think if he can just get a sniff of that draft, that could play you know, a big part in him making up this ground.
What's interesting as well is that you got Justin, who's falling off while Mclaughlin's actually catching up. So, you know, obviously these guys do run different setups to suit themselves, but a lot of teams do run the same base setup. But
back in the pack down the front straight, Simon Black, Cal Watmore having a nice little battle back there for 11th and 12th. Makes a move up the inside, so Cal Watmore gets the job done.
I feel a little bit sorry for Cybers, just looking as he went past. If we can get a shot of the rear of that car, that rear wing's sitting on a very unusual angle right now, which probably isn't helping him in a straight line. That's all kinds of bend up the lap 1 carnage.
It's unfortunate, but it's so easy to get caught up in that drama, isn't it? You know, all the cars so close together, especially up the start. You know, someone only needs to, you know, not quite get a gear and not get the start they need, and it can really jam up the field. And I think that's exactly what happened, unfortunately.
Looks like Mclaughlin is still getting it on Madison. That last lap, he was another 10th faster, so they're running pretty similar, but I do think Mclaughlin might have the little edge on Madison at the moment.
Yeah, I haven't heard too much talk from the guys as far as tyre wear. I don't think tyre wear has been a huge issue at this place, but I think the most thing that everyone's been concentrating on is the fuel numbers, obviously. But like you said, Scotty's looking quite racy here, and be pretty keen to get the job done, because I think it's always easier to lead than sort of chase someone down sometimes.
Yeah, I think also when you got conserve fuel, you know, you can go a little bit easier on the tyres, and you're not trying to run at such a flat-out pace like these guys would if it was a no pit stopper or even a 1 stopper. So tyres tend to get looked after just a little bit more when they're trying to conserve that fuel.
Back in the pack, looks like Curtis is just maybe opening up that margin again on Renz. Nice little battle. It's funny, isn't it, when you get caught up in a battle, sometimes you just sort of, yeah, your focus takes away from the racetrack and you don't sort of run the perfect line, and you can give up a bit of track time. But like we said, these guys started battling for position, and that just gave Muggo just that little bit of a breathing space, and finds himself sort of, you know, a second in front. So that sort of helps that he doesn't sort of get dragged back in the pack with this battle.
Yeah, looking at their times, I mean, they're all running very similar times. So I think that I think the little battle between Curtis and Renz over a couple of laps ago was able to give Muggo that little bit of an edge. But yeah, like I said, they're all running very consistent times now, very close to each other. And up the front, Mclaughlin is really starting to hound the back of Madison.
Yeah, it's probably the closest he's been all race, hasn't it? He's really hounding the back of down, and like we said, he had a move up in this next turn. It looks like he's got a good run out of that turn if he can make a dive up the inside again, but not quite. He just thinks better of it. But
Yeah,
I think it's... Sorry, mate, go.
So that's the place he tried it last time and went a little bit too deep, a little bit too optimistic, but he's definitely a lot closer now, and we've got another big straight coming up here, so if he can get a good run through this kink coming up here in the right-hander, he's definitely going to be in with a shot down to the slow right-hander at the end of the straight. Madison's just got a slightly better run through there at the moment, though.
And while we check out that, we've got a Curtis and Renz still having their battle. Renz slowly making that margin up again. Just when we thought Curtis was starting to pull away, Renz makes it up. He's definitely a lot stronger this second half of the lap.
Yeah, the good thing about this track is, well, I personally find is there's a couple of overtaking opportunities if you're close enough. So, you know, if you're stronger in one part of the track to the other, there's always a chance for you to have a bit of a peak and have a bit of a move. It looks like Curtis is starting to slide around the rear at the moment a little bit more than he was a little while ago, so maybe just use up those tyres a little bit too hard trying to fight off Muggo and now Renz.
That's something I was going to mention too, is Renz looks like he just puts a nose there and has to think about it, but you know, if you've got a battle on your hands, sometimes it's best to try and get over and done with as quick as you can, because sometimes you'll find with these tyres as the race goes on that the tyres do get to a certain point and sometimes they'll drop off a cliff where you don't sort of have that ultimate tyre grip. And although you're right behind someone, sometimes if you haven't got that grip, sometimes it's really hard just to get the job done. So Renz will be pretty keen as well as Scott Mclaughlin will be the same too, as he thinks about having a bit of a look up the inside. I think the one thing Scotty's trying to do is just move around a little bit in Madison's mirror and just sort of distract Madison a little bit if he can.
Definitely using a lot of the curbing through there, and he's close, and he's really good through this middle part of the track. And Madison seems to be good at the back half. But Scott, every time there's an overtaking opportunity ahead, Scott just can't seem to get the power down as well at the moment.
If we go on board with Madison, just looking back, you can see Scott just harassing the back, and another big straight where we get a bit of a draft and a bit of opportunity. He just needs to be a bit closer. He's not as close as he needs to be at this stage. But definitely looking the race here at the 2. Last time round, he was only a 10th off Madison's time, but definitely looking the race here at the 2.
Yeah, and there's still 10 laps to go, so you know tyres are going to come into play, and these guys can't go too hard because they also have to conserve fuel. The one thing that's going to be in Scott's advantage is he's been able to you know, roll off a bit earlier into the corners whilst in the draft of Madison, while Madison is going to have to push. Just having a quick look through the timing sheets. Looks like about 1/3 of the field almost was involved in that first lap accident. Well, I guess you could call it first corner if for those guys that made it that far.
Looks like, just having a look through the field with Madison and Scotty having that battle for first and second, Hampstead and Ruggier have really fallen back off these guys. Whether they're just hitting their fuel number and they know they can't push as hard, you know, this could benefit them if Scotty and Madison aren't sort of paying attention to their fuel numbers.
Yeah, I'm just still watching Scott. He's having a big
line.
Oh,
he's going big dive. That's it. Oh, is he going to outbrake himself? Oh, it's exactly what we saw a couple of laps ago where he just made the dive and couldn't pull it up in time. So Madison just saw the opportunity, just ran a little bit wide and just said, oh, off you go, you can take the dive. So we check out the replay and just see that Scotty just throws it up the inside, gets that bit of a wiggle, and Madison just gets on with it. So bad luck there for Scotty.
Credit where credit's due, though. He's had 2 massive dives. You know, he's at least he's out there having a go rather than just sitting behind Madison and taking the points early on in the season. Good to see guys out there having a genuine crack at the moment.
Ah, that's right. Go back to this Renz chip away action. Renz all over the back. He's all over the back of Curtis Chipaway. If he can get nice and close, maybe think about a dive up the inside. Oh, it's a hard place to pass.
Looks like they're going to be brave to do it here, but Curtis is giving him a bit of room actually now, but managed to get that one unscathed. But he's got to run here. Look at this.
Oh, a little bit of contact. Looked like might have just gotten to the back of him just a little bit there, but makes a move up the inside. Oh, not quite. Renz having a look. Chipaway on the outside, but these guys having a great tussle, and this is Rail Ritchie's right into it too.
Yeah, that was definitely contact at 250 kilometres an hour. These guys are into it, and Vale's closed up right on the back of them now as Renz has got the outside. They're doing a fantastic job to Keep it out of the walls, especially touching out that back straight at 250. I mean, that thing's no, well, it's not really a straight. Then look at
Richie's! Richie's is all over it. He can see he's got the benefit of the draft and he's just got nowhere to go. These guys are side by side and he just can't get the job done. How frustrating for Richie's.
That's what I mean at the start of the race when I said it was a tight straight. He had the draft from both of them and it just could not get it done.
Contact!
Curtis has run a bit deep into the corner.
Renz has really come out of that worse off. A little bit of contact there between Chipaway and Richie. Says, you beauty, the world's open up and he gets the move done. So, wow.
Fantastic race now to make sure that everyone stayed on the racetrack there and out of the wall. Vale, though, almost found himself 2 spots up after being a little bit behind.
And the run that he had down that front straight, that just punched a big hole in the air when you got the cars side by side, and he just had nowhere to go. But smart bit of driving there from Richie's, because it's easy to get caught up in the moment and make a silly dive. But he just sat back and watched all that unfold and snuffled that position from Brookman.
I've got to say, I'm not sure if Vale's done too much oval racing or not, but if that was me, I would have just picked one of them and started bump drafting down that straight.
So nice bit of action now. Chipaway definitely got his hands full there.
And Renz is close right back up on the back of these two now as well. So this is going to be on for young and old again.
Yeah, Renz has got real pace here. Looks like he might try and think about look up the inside. Thinks better of it.
But Curtis has pulled away a little here and through the kink in the carousel. Got himself a little bit clear from an attack from Vale at the moment.
Geez, Vale's good under brakes there. I just thought he might fire into the back there, but of Chipaway, but pulled that up nicely. He's really got good pace there and great braking ability, but he's definitely got his hands full now as he's got Renz all over the back of him. Just having a look at our leaders too. Scotty's just closed that margin a little bit. I think after that dive that he had, Madison had a 1.5 second lead. It's down to just under a second now. So Scotty with real pace at the end of this race. It's lap 11 of 18, and I think he's probably got enough time just to get up there and maybe have one more crack at it.
Yeah, he's running faster at the moment, but he's gonna make sure next time if he has a go, he's gonna make sure he seals the deal and actually managed to pull it up.
I'm also back a little bit for 4th and 5th. I'm a bit surprised that Ruggie has sort of slipped back. I didn't see him get in contact with any dramas on that first lap, so whether he's just hasn't got race pace or he's hurt his tyres, or I'm not sure, but we're probably not used to seeing Justin slip back like he is.
Yeah, we saw a little bit at Brands Hatch though. He had a lot of pace early on and then fell off, but you know, that said, it's not like he's only 5 seconds off, and I know that's a lot in racing terms, but still a pretty good effort at the moment to be running in P4. And Mclaughlin's closed right back up on the back of Madison.
Yeah, he's really got genuine car pace now, hasn't he? You can just see, like, he's made that margin up in, what, a lap and a half. It was 1.5 seconds that he's closed up. Last time round, Scotty did 11.6, Madison was 12.3, so genuine pace there. Something new to iRacing too, if you haven't seen the latest build, obviously some new and improvements with iRacing, especially with the V8 Supercar series, is a dirty windscreen, which is something we're all not used to, but I think it's just a great feature in our online racing series.
Yeah, it's definitely fantastic. I mean, one thing that I'm actually a little bit sad about is that it's optional. I mean, it's a fantastic little feature, but I know a lot of guys were saying with it being optional, it could be an advantage because it can get pretty bloody dirty. I can tell you that right now. I've did a couple laps and blew the motor up, and we got Mclaughlin actually further back on Ruggier. Big run, actually. Looks like Ruggier lifted there.
Wow. I wonder if that's a fuel thing. We don't see Justin fall back like that. I wonder if he's really conscious of his fuel numbers.
Yeah, I mean, surely these ANZ guys have they've done enough testing. And look at Scotty up front; he's still pushing on very hard. I mean, maybe it's just a driving style or driving technique now that's hurting Justin, but he definitely lifted there to let Margot go.
A little bit further back, Valricci's Rensbrook, and this
Actually lost Curtis Shipway in that little battle too.
Just about to say, yeah, Curtis has fallen off. We'll just have to quickly run through the replay and see actually what's happened. Oh,
Actually got a bit of a tap from
Valricci's.
Yeah, Vale's got him massively deep and locked the rears and just tapped him on that rear wheel. Probably a little bit lucky we don't have live race stewards because I think he'd be getting a drive down the pit lane, that's for sure.
Wow, bit of bad luck there. Curtis Chipaway just, yeah, it looks like I was speaking about it before how Ritchie's was really strong under brakes. He's just had a big dive, got a little bit sideways, corrected, and just tagged Chipaway, and unfortunately that's sent Chipaway undone. Bad luck. Let's have a talk about back up front, guys. Scott Mclaughlin wrestling the back of Madison down. Nothing in it now. I know Scotty's got to be watching that lap counter. It's lap 12 of 18, so he knows he's slowly running out of time and can't afford to make another big dive because, you know, although he's got the good pace on board, you don't want to sort of use up the best part of your tyres because I think if he has one more lunge and doesn't pull it up in time, it may be sort of game over.
Yeah, he's doing a fantastic. I mean, he's had two big dives, run off the track, had to catch back a couple of seconds, and as you said, he's back on now, and the tyres aren't falling away from him. So my only question is fuel. You know, is he having a big crack, just trying to maybe get in front and then conserve on the last couple of laps, or is he confident that he could push this hard and get away with it? He's having a bit of a look.
Jeez, so much action going on. Renz has got his hands full up front with down for 6th and 7th with Ritchie's, and Scott McLaughlin all over the back of Madison down for the race lead. We almost need split screen.
Yeah, a couple of good battles going on through the pack at the moment, and you know, there's still a couple laps to go, so there's still quite a few passing opportunities for all these blokes now to, you know, still have a bit of a crack.
I'm impressed with Scotty's pace. He's had good pace, but like we were talking about fuel numbers, do you think he's trying to push Madison to use up more fuel as he has a look up the inside? He's done this before. Oh, not quite had enough. Just pulled it up. Didn't want to make contact there with Madison down. Nice bit of driving by both of them, but geez, Scotty's really hungry to get that job done. But is he trying to push Madison a little bit harder than Madison wants to drive to use up fuel? That could be an interesting thing to think about.
Yeah, that could be one thing that he's doing. I mean, but what's in Madison's favour is that those two times that McLaughlin's gone off, you know, Madison's had a couple of laps to just relax on the fuel and, you know, ease off on the go, roll off into the corners and short shift on the exits, and which might have helped McLaughlin catch up so quickly. So that could come in. Oh, is McLaughlin's actually going to have a bit of a look? No, they're just going to have a dive there.
So back down the field for 8th and 9th place, Curtis Chipaway. Got his hands full now. Samuel Collins all over the back of Curtis. We touched on his dramas, unfortunately.
Sorry, Samuel, back up front. McLaughlin's made a pass on Madison now for the lead. They're going to have a drag race up the front straight, though. Scott's going to have the inside as Madison's on the grass.
Sensational bit of driving. We've seen this from Scotty the last couple of laps. He's got that pace on board, and now they have the inside line. That's going to put Madison on the outside. So Scott should get the job done, providing... Oh, a little bit of contact. They're going to run side by side. Nice bit of driving. Great respect by these two guys. Madison down, battling out with Scotty McLaughlin. Scott still got the inside line, and he'll get the job done.
Finally gets it done and actually pulls it up. It looks like Madison's trying to get a better run, and if he can stay in the draft, he might be with half a chance at this next straight. Sorry to cut you off there as you're looking further back in the pack, Sam, man, as well.
No, that's right. Great battle up front. Looks like Madison's got a bit of that draft. He's going to try for the outside. Scotty holds that inside line.
Right for the switch back here. This is a bit of extra road on the entry to the corner there. Couldn't get it done, and McLaughlin holds him up a little bit in that mid-corner.
I think Scotty was onto him. He knew that he was going to try that crossover and probably just slowed his mid-corner speed up. Nice bit of driving by Scotty there. And Madison now Just needs to take it easy and just see what he's got for Mclaughlin. There's still plenty of laps to go in this race, and he's right there. So we just found out through the field. Oh, Renz Brookman got Vale. He just ran a little bit wide, but he's held on to it. So these guys still having a nice little battle there for 6th and 7th. Here's a nice little dive by Renz up the inside at turn 1. Got the job done on Vale Richies. But back up front, Madison down. Trying to chase down Scotty. There's nothing in it. The laps are slowly dwindling away. Lap 14 of 18. I think if Scotty can just maintain that pace, he's at incredible pace. But what's his fuel numbers like?
Yeah, I was about to say the big question now is we're coming into that that volatile point. Have these guys saved enough fuel to get this thing home? And if anyone hasn't, I think it might be Scott Mclaughlin, because he's had to push hard to come back from 2 mistakes, and he's now got the lead. Those ANZ guys are pretty switched on. They're going to know what's going on. They're going to know every little millimetre and where it's being used around this racetrack.
Back for 8th and 9th, Curtis Chipaway, Samuel Collins. Having a nice little tussle, these guys. I think, although Curtis had that bit of bad luck in that contact with Vale Richies, he'd be grateful he's got a nice little battle on his hands, just having a bit of fun back there. So lap 15 of 18 for round 1, Road America. Season 4, 2012. It's Scott Mclaughlin leading over Madison Down, Richard Hampstead in 3rd, Josh Muggleton 4th, and running out to 5, Justin Ruggier. So, tell you what, if these guys are a bit too close on fuel, there's a couple of guys back there, Hampstead, Muggleton, Ruggier, that I think will be, I think they'll be pretty good as far as fuel numbers go.
Yeah, just looking at Ruggier, he hasn't fallen off Muggleton too much. So I'd say that his driving style in particular is the one that's might be affecting him here, because, like I said, it's unusual to see him just give up positions and fall back like he is. So I just wonder if he's maybe a little bit harder on the fuel than some of these other boys.
Just having a look last lap round. Scott Mclaughlin 2:12.802, Madison Down 2:13.195, and Hampstead 2:12.4. So Hampstead coming a bit pacey in this last part of the race too.
Yeah, he would have been loving it when he saw the 2 guys up ahead battling it out, and he would have caught these guys hand over fist. And I know no driver wants to see anyone else get involved in a crash, but a little bit of contact to make him run a little bit wider, Richard would have been laughing.
Not wrong. Back there for 4th and 5th, Muggleton Ruggier. Like we were saying, Ruggier just sort of looked like he rolled out of the throttle and gave Muggleton the position, and I think maybe that Ruggier was sort of just looking after fuel maybe, and he probably knows that he's sort of hit his number now, and he knows he's got plenty of fuel to make to the end, and looks like he might be picking up the pace a little bit. 12.5, he was second fastest, 12.3 that time round, so he was second fastest out of the front runners last lap round. And same again, it's probably P3 on the timesheet, so 3rd fastest driver on the track at the moment.
Yeah, and I was just listening to Muggleton there as you went by on the front straight. He was lifting off well before he was on the brake, so maybe Justin rather, was taking the pain early and conserving fuel, whilst now Joshua might have to do it towards the end of this race. He's definitely lifting off a lot earlier than Justin Muggleton at the moment, so I wonder if he's maybe gone a little bit harder at the start to get the positions and now saving towards the back end.
We're just going to ride on board with Muggo. We'll go quiet a little bit and just see if you can listen to him right now.
You stay with it till the end of the back straight. You'll be able to hear it a lot more than at least some of these corners. So we'll just we'll stick with this for a couple of corners. So sit back, turn it up, and enjoy it. You can hear
Yep.
it along there.
You're right. Exactly. That's exactly what he's doing. Just rolling out that throttle a little bit earlier, and that can make massive gain on your fuel numbers, can't it?
Yeah, well, anytime these guys aren't full throttle, they're saving valuable fuel. The big question now, though, is has he got enough to? If Justin did save earlier, has he got enough to fend off Justin for these final few laps? I mean, the pace still looks, per the gap rather, it still looks pretty close. But I'm just trying to listen to Justin now as well, coming as he comes down. Go further back in the pack. Look at Samuel Collins, still harassing the back Curtis Chipaway.
A little bit further down the pack for 12th and 13th. Looks like Simon Black, Muddy Atkins. Little battle between teammates there as they're battling it out for 12th and 13th.
Yeah, I still think that car would be a little bit awkward to drive for Simon at the moment. That's got a lot of rear wing damage.
Just for 4th and 5th too. Mugger and Ruggier. Ruggier's just a little bit more pace on board at this part of the race. Last lap round he was a 10th quicker, so slowly but surely he's just sort of peeling off lap by lap and closing that margin. And like we've been saying, if these guys are tight on fuel up the front, it could benefit them in the long run.
And speaking of up front, Richard's looking a lot closer than he was a couple of laps ago. He was the fastest slightly out of the top three the last lap, and actually he was quite a bit faster than Madison, so he's not out of it now for a shot of second place.
It's at the point of the race now where these guys have pretty much got what they got. They can't sort of afford to save too much more fuel now because as we approach the end of this lap, there's only one more lap to go. And as they stand, it's Scotty Mclaughlin sitting in the catbird seat over Madison Down and Richard Hampstead for your top three. So it'll be interesting to see if these guys cough on this last lap.
Yeah, I'm wondering if any of these guys are going to be nervous on this last one or if they're all pretty confident. But as you said, they've either got to pull off into the pit lane now to make sure they get around, or just hold a flat stick for this last lap and not lose any positions.
You'd think out of the top three, you'd think the only one that would struggle with fuel would be Scotty because he had such more pace than Madison. You'd probably think that Madison and Hampstead would be okay on fuel. You'd think the only one that would have huge concerns you'd think would maybe be Mclaughlin.
Yeah, like you said, we saw him go off twice and he's had to push quite hard to catch up. Way further back now, lost the position to Collins and quite a bit of time actually as well, so not sure if this has been a driver error or some more contact. Try and search through, I think it might have been at turn 1. Try to search the replay and find it. Further up ahead, it's getting pretty tight though between Mclaughlin, Down and Richard. Half a lap to run now.
Geez, they've really closed that margin on Mclaughlin. I wonder if he's just trying to be careful with fuel with this last half a lap. There's only half a lap to go. Scott Mclaughlin leads over Madison Down, Richard Hampstead in third. There's nothing in it. It's about just over a second and a half for these guys spread out for first, second and third. So if one of these cough, it could be a big change in the positions.
Now as Hampstead runs a little bit wide. I'm going to be interested to see. I mean, these guys all have their little black box set to the fuel now, surely, and just monitoring that. But if McLaughlin can pull this off, he's done a fantastic job to come back after 2 mistakes and still save enough fuel to win this race. But it's the fuel will drain quickly coming up this straight for the last time. Got one corner to run.
Definitely had pace all race long. Madison led for the start. Scotty had a couple of cracks at him, but got the job done. He's been very pacey. And Scott Mclaughlin will take the opening round of Season 4 for 2012. Well done, Scott Mclaughlin.
Yeah, fantastic drive by the New Zealander there to come back, as I said, after those mistakes now. And I'm surprised he's managed to They got a couple of guys run out of fuel back there, Muggo and Ruggier, but I'm surprised that McLaughlin has managed to pull that off, especially when you got guys like sounded like Muggo and Ruggier coughing across the start-finish line. That is a stellar performance there by Scott McLaughlin.
So still a number of drivers finishing their lap. A couple of people just coughing across the line. We've heard that people are running out just as they hit the start-finish line. So no doubt they would have been holding their breath looking at that fuel gauge. But great driving, great action from round one from Road America. We saw plenty of dramas from the start. But overall, it was Scott McLaughlin who got the job done. Madison Dow coming home in second place. Richard Hampstead in third. Mclaughlin finishing fourth. I think he was one of the guys that coughed over the line. So lucky to finish in front of Ruggier for fifth. Renz Brookman in sixth. Val Ritchie seventh. Samuel Collins in eighth. Curtis Chipaway ninth. Cal Watmore rounding out the top 10. In 11th place, we see Richie Stanaway, Marty Atkins in 12th. Simon Black 13th. Ben Rothberg in 14th. Troy Cox in 15th. Carl May in 16th. Mitchell Aberall in 17th. Sean Kelly 18th. Scott Fontaine 19th. And Dylan Carroll rounding out your top 20. Well, it had a bit of everything, didn't it? We saw so much drama from the start. A bit of a cracker opener for the season 4.
Yeah, it was a fantastic race, and just back on that fuel thing, I counted about 4 or 5 cars there that I swear were coughing across the line. I'm not sure if they were playing tricks on me and just lifting off the accelerator, but there were definitely a couple of them that the engine was going silent there for a couple of seconds. But as you said, fantastic way to start the season. I mean, we're all very what's the word I'm looking for here? I completely lost it now. Critical. We're all very critical of the fuel saving races, but I think this one was definitely a success. There's a lot of action, and like I said, I'm still very surprised to see Scott McLaughlin actually manage to save enough fuel to pull that off.
Yeah, that pace was incredible. I think if we, what we were talking about, if there was anyone that was probably going to run out of fuel, it would be Scotty. It'd be great to have a chat to him. Fingers crossed, a couple of the guys join us in the booth after the race. But we'd love to know just how much Scotty had left in the tank, because it was incredible to see the pace that he had, and to pull back that margin on Madison down. I think it got out to just over 1.5 seconds. But to close that margin, it was incredible to watch, and would have put money on that he probably would run out of fuel. But a great job by Scotty. So we look forward to next week. Next week we head to Watkins Glen, 35 laps around Watkins Glen. The guys are going to have their work cut out for them, and no doubt we're going to be in for a rip of a race.
Yeah, Watkins is always a favourite of a lot of the drivers, and pulls some of the biggest grids we see all season long. I think it's one of the favourite tracks in Iracing, full stop though. Fantastic race circuit. Really suits V8 Supercars too, I find.
So we'll just get you to bear with us. We've got a couple of drivers that are going to pop over and have a quick chat to us, and someone who's just joined us in the commentary box. We'll chat to Richard Hampstead. Richard, third place tonight, mate.
Yeah, not too unhappy. Just had a pretty lonely race, I guess. I was seeing Scott and Mad dicing up the front. I was hoping they were using too much fuel, but in the end they had enough, and yeah, it was a close race. Congrats to Scott and Mad. Just too good.
How close were you on fuel, mate? We spoke about it during the telecast as far as it was going to be a bit of a fuel numbers game. Your thoughts on how you went as far as your fuel, mate?
Pretty well. I coughed a couple of times just before I came over the line. I saw Madison was too. Got a bit of a run on him, but I wasn't quite close enough. But yeah, clearly Scott was doing the best job with the fuel.
Speaking of Scott, our round one winner for Road America for season 4, 2012, Scott McLaughlin, mate, well done. Good little battle all race long. You fought it out with Madison, had a couple of dives and ran a little bit wide, but looked like you had incredible pace all throughout the night, mate.
Yeah, thank you. It was good. I'd just like to thank my boys, Clayton and Justin, all the boys at ANZ. They helped me a lot this week. But yeah, I had a problem. My brake bias setting was to my gear stick. So every time I went down gears, it went forward, and every time I went up gears, it went rearward. So as I'm going down gears, I'm locking the fronts up massively. So yeah. So that made me go off the track. But hey, it was a good race, and Madison gave me plenty of room, so it was good fun.
Yeah, that was. Sorry, Sam, I was gonna say that was fantastic. When you finally managed to get the job done and not actually run off the racetrack, you two went for a couple of corners there, and some of the best racing I think I've seen for quite a while there without any contact. I'm surprised actually, Scott. I said it a million times at the end of the race. I'm surprised you managed to get that thing to the line on fuel, because after running off the track and catching back up to Madison, me and Sandman both thought you were gone.
Yeah, I was lucky I had the draft from Madison all race, but I found a few things. I practiced quite a bit today just to see what I could do on the data and just see what was the best way to save fuel. So I got a few things up my sleeve. So hopefully there's more fuel races.
Also joining us in the box, second place, and our reigning V8 Supercar champion, Madison Down, mate. Well done. Great battle, as we just heard from Scott, all race long, mate. Well done.
Yeah, it was a great battle. Was trying to just save enough fuel out in the lead. I could see Richard back there saving heaps of fuel for the end by the looks of it, and I knew Scott was coming at me pretty hard. He had a few dives down the inside, and that, his brake bias issues explains why he didn't pull it up. That's pretty scary, but yeah, no, we didn't make any contact, and it was a great fight for the lead. Few exchanges, but yeah, great fun. Well done to Scott on the win. Just too good tonight.
No doubt you'd be fairly happy. Not a bad way to start your title defence, mate.
Yeah, the pace was good. Obviously, again, the 1 lap pace was fantastic. Just probably need to work on the fuel races a bit more, but I don't think there's as many of those this season. So hopefully, got a strong car in the future rounds. I'm certainly confident after that race that the tyre life is there. So yeah, it should be a good season.
Also joining us in the box, fourth place for tonight, Josh Mclaughlin, mate. You had your hands full all race long. Started in 6th place, so came home in 4th, mate. Your thoughts on tonight's race?
Yeah, good night, mate. Always good when you move forward up the grid, but had a good close race with Justin there, and we were back and forth on fuel, and then we both just ran out at the line, and I was lucky enough to get there in the end. But no, I'm happy with 4th in this field, mate, and yeah, this season's going to be a beauty.
Look close, mate. We had reports you may have coughed over the line and nearly lost position there to Ruggier.
Yeah, we were both coughing, mate. I just coughed a little bit earlier than him, and he almost got there, but luckily, yeah, got there in the end.
Speaking of Justin joins us in the box as well, mate. Great battle. Looked like you started from P2 and then sort of didn't get the best of starts, and then just slowly sort of started to drift back a little bit, and then you had your hands with having a good battle there with Muggo, mate. Tell us a bit about it.
Yeah, hello guys. Firstly, congratulations to Scott. It's great to start the season with our team member being first, which is great. Yeah, pretty happy with the qualifying performance, in P2. But I knew even if I did get a great start, I didn't want to sort of battle, because you have to stay with the train and you fall off the pace and you have to use so much fuel to catch back up again. So I was happy enough to sacrifice a spot with Richard and just go his pace. And yeah, I was just struggling to maintain fuel numbers and keep up with their pace, unfortunately. And Muggo got past, and then I saved a bit too much, and yeah, it's just a concertina effect. And unfortunately, yeah, finished the first race in P5, and I will just have to press on, and hopefully there's no more fuel races.
Yeah, it can be quite frustrating, seeing it from a spectator's point of view. We see you guys, trying your hardest. It's hard to race and save fuel at the same time, but all in all, mate, I think you'd be fairly happy. You had a great season last season, and no doubt you'd be looking forward to taking it up to the boys and maybe going one step better next for this season. Sorry.
Yeah, it's on the cards. That's what we want to do. It's just unfortunate, you know what I mean? From a driver's point of view, you just want to go flat out, 100%, and that's how I am. I'm not into these fuel-saving races. As you can see in my performance, every time I do it, I'm not really up there with the best of them. But hey, look, it's the same for everyone, and obviously other people get to maximise their fuel numbers better than me. But yeah, I want to win races, and hopefully we get back up there.
Well, that's your top 5. Let's go to 6th place finisher for tonight, Renz Brookman. Renz, you had your hands full, mate, having a great battle there with Val Ritchies and Curtis Chipaway.
Yeah, it was a nice hard fight. Quite enjoyable, but like Justin, the fuel saving races is not something really suits me. But all in all, it was a fun race, good race, and well done to the guys, everyone in front of me, really.
You spent a bit of time away from the main game, mate, in the championship-wise, but it's good to see you back in a strong team. No doubt you'll be looking forward to this season.
Yeah, for sure. It's good to be back, and like you said, in new colours. So hope I can win some races this season.
Also join us in the box, we've got Ben Rothberg. Ben, not the best of nights, mate, finishing 14th position, mate. Tell us a bit about your night.
Oh, well, John Emerson's in here as well. Looked like a bit of a clutch problem on his pedals or something. He can explain that, but nowhere to go really, and had damage, came into pit, and just really putted around from there, trying to see if anyone fell off the road, but no one did it. So 14th, can't be happy, but at least I got the car back out there.
And the big thing that plays in your favour, mate, it's a long season and you get to drop a couple of rounds too. So, yeah, unfortunately you got tangled up, but we'll have a chat to John Emerson, who joins us in the box, mate. Dramas off the start, mate. Tell us a bit about it from your point of view.
Yeah, the old clutch pedal decided to give up the ghost on the grid. I was sitting there, the grey lights came on, hit first, hit the accelerator and started moving forward. So I was pumping the clutch like crazy and flicked it back to neutral, lights went green, hit the accelerator, no gear, no nothing, just sat there like a sitting duck and whammo.
It's almost shade. We were talking about the streets of the Gold Coast had all sorts of dramas in the main game in the V8 Supercars. It was sort of shades of that, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Somebody rolled as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
Several cars rolled.
Certainly a fair share of dramas. And Dylan Carroll joins us in the box too. Dylan, no doubt you got caught up in that too, mate.
Pretty disappointing, yeah. But no, I understand. It's all good. Hopefully go to the next race and be in top split and put in a good result. Had a good first early race, but yeah. Anyway, wasn't my race.
Well, fellas, 1 week down, and next week we look forward to our trip to Watkins Glen, mate. 35 laps. No doubt Madison Down will be fairly excited to head to Watkins Glen.
Got to be the worst track on the season for me every season. But anyway, we'll see if we can break that hoodoo. But yeah, always tough.
Oh, that's good. I'm looking forward to that.
That's a good track for you, Scott. You win every season there, don't you?
Hopefully you'll crash out.
I'll try not to crash into you this season.
I appreciate you guys taking the time out to join us in the box. It's always good to hear you guys' point of view. So much action up and down the field. So thanks very much for joining us, and well done, Scotty, mate. Well done.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much.
And